Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio. We are brought to you by championnews.net. This is Carol Parisi, our founder, Jack Roser, and myself. Before the break, we're talking about madrasas, and we have a failed public school system because of the unions. How do the madrasas measure up to public schools? And
well,
what are they?
As far as teaching the basics of reading, writing, arithmetic, they do that. However, the madrasas also teach children hatred against not only Western civilization, which they call the devil demon Western civilization, but also against Judaism, Jews in particular, and they foment radical Islam, and they teach children racial hatred and hatred of religions.
They're doing that right here on American soil.
Right here on American soil. They do. They also teach them there is no tolerance for the religions under Islam. There is no tolerance. You either convert to Islam, or the other two choices are that you can either be sold into slavery or you can be murdered.
Obama did that in Indonesia in his youth when he was admittedly young, and nobody wants to talk about that. But he was a zealot in that movement in those days as a child, and there's sort of the precursors he doesn't want to mention.
The problems with madrasas, though, is that they're amongst us now. They're here now.
They're here.
They're here right now.
Are all madrasas teaching?
Madrasas, depending upon the bent of the imam or the cleric who is actually teaching. Okay, there's a very telling video in Germany of a madras teaching the fundamentals of Islam to children in Germany, Muslim children in Germany. And it is so filled with hatred and diatribe, not only against the West, but against anti-Islamic other religions, that it's quite telling in terms of what they do in the madras.
What if a
not
religion
surprising
is
that it
hate?
would be radical when the cure, as we said in a previous program, is that there are 3 states, and if you don't convert to the state of Islam, it's pretty much okay.
It is okay to kill an individual or to enslave them. Those are the only 3 things you can do with a kafar, according to the Quran. You can either convert them, or you can enslave them, or you can kill them. If they do refuse to convert, there are only the other 2 options. Now you have to understand that the people that are preaching this are the radical imams, such as the blind sheikh, who actually was involved in the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center, who's now serving a life prison.
That was the first one.
Life sentence, the first one. Plus, you also have a very large group of Islamists in England, in the United Kingdom, who not only preach this, but in public, they talk exactly the opposite. But that's part of the deceptive process.
Which is a tenet of Islam.
No, it's the tenet of terrorism. Yasser Arafat is one of the tenets of the just principles of war. Yasser Arafat in public at the United Nations stated that he had either an olive branch in one hand or the rifle in the other. Which one do you want me to drop?
You know, all of this sounds terribly conspiratorial, doesn't it? We couldn't have conspiracies like that in the United States. What the hell knocked down those 2 big buildings?
But it's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's reality.
It's reality, but people look at it as something
they used
so radical.
They used our own institutions against us. They got flight training in Minnesota. Okay, they came here on student visas, which is one of the immigration problems. Okay, and they outstayed their visas. Okay, we had several indicators that things were going on, and notices were sent, warnings were given. And right now we're going to that same disconnect right now, but we're trying to play catch up. You cannot play catch up with these people. There is only one thing you can do with evil, and that's eradicate it.
You know, you're going to be at the Schomburg Library on the 17th, June 17th, to talk more about radical Islam. And the funny thing is those terrorists, I mean, it's not funny, it's horrible. They took down airplanes, not with guns. They took them down with box cutters. Now, in Illinois, that's one of your other passions, because you are a firearms trainer.
That's what I do. I'm a firearms instructor and a personal trainer.
You're a personal firearms trainer. What's going on with our Second Amendment rights here in Illinois?
Well, in the state of Illinois, we've been fighting for concealed carry for such a long time and fighting Madigan. Dan Madigan and Lisa Madigan. We were fighting Mayor Daley, and now we're fighting Ron Emanuel.
And today's the day that it goes
well,
through.
today's the day. Well, today's the day.
9th.
Well, June the 9th has just been abrogated. There's a new Senate bill that was just introduced yesterday by Representative Phelps out of Southern Illinois, actually state senator.
Ago.
No, he just introduced this yesterday. It's Senate Bill 2193 that is being debated today and voted on in committee, executive committee, in the state House of Representatives and the state Senate to try to bring it for the floor on a vote to give us concealed carry. We were trying to push Senate Bill 997, which is the one we wanted. And now they've sanitized it and they've introduced Senate Bill 2193 yesterday. And now we're waiting to see what happens on it.
There's a little background to this. We're the only state in the United States.
We're the only one.
We're the only one that doesn't have a concealed carry law. This has been known a long time. It's
We're
been
the only
going
ones that
on
do not
and
have a
on.
concealed carry permit in all 50 states.
Yeah, and it's a federal law that we must. That's why they're even
Well, it's a federal
talking
ruling by the Circuit Court of Appeals, giving us until June the 9th for the state of Illinois to institute a concealed carry permit law. If they do not do that, or they fail to do that by June the 9th, the federal appellate court will take over, and that ruling will take effect, and we will have constitutional carry.
So by today, because today's June the 9th, Sunday.
Yeah.
So explain what happens today.
June the 9th, by the end of the day, if we don't have a concealed carry permit law on the books by that time, signed by the governor and beginning to be instituted, we will have constitutional carry in the state of Illinois. The problem is that the Northern Illinois Democrats don't want it, and a lot of people don't want it. But
And our president doesn't want it.
he doesn't want any of this.
He wants to get rid of all of the guns, and one of the tricks they're using in this thing is they want to if they have to pass a law, they want to put all kinds of conditions on background checks.
Well, there were 27 amendments that they came up with.